Hey there guys, I'm TheRoyalGorilla and welcome to my top 10 games of E3 2015. Now this list will be a rundown of my personal favourite games from the showcase this year. So please keep in mind if there is a game that you're excited about that doesn't appear on the list, I'm not intentionally attacking it in any way, but I would like to hear what games you're excited about in the comment section below. So I think it's just about time we got started with the list, but before we do, I wanted to give a couple of honourable mentions. Now this isn't really something I usually do, but for this video I thought it would be pretty important. Now there are around 6 games that I wanted to honourably mention, and there are a range of reasons for why these aren't on the actual list. The main reason for most of these games is the pure fact that I have no relation with the series. Games such as Final Fantasy VII, Shenmue, and The Last Guardian are all games that I have never experienced, so have no connection to. But I fully appreciate everyone else's excitement for these games, so I wanted to include them in the video somehow. So let's quickly go through our honourable mentions. Okay, now that that's over, let's get onto the main list. Now this list won't be in any particular order because I didn't really want to rank these from worst to best, purely because a lot of this is based on hype and speculation, and we can never really judge these games until we experience them for ourselves. So just keep in mind that these are in a completely random order pretty much, so don't read anything into it. Okay, so at number 1, we have Mad Max. Now Mad Max was an interesting one for me purely because it didn't appear at any of the press conferences, which I was really surprised about. I was really hoping that the Square Enix conference would show some footage of Mad Max, even though we have already seen quite a lot of it in gameplay trailers released on YouTube. I was really hoping to see some hands-on footage of the game. However, what we did get away from the conferences was a brand new trailer detailing some more of the story elements of the game, and it looks really fun. Now, I personally have a bit of a soft spot for open world games, and especially apocalyptic open world games, as you'll probably notice from some of the rest of the games on this list. And Mad Max just looks like it's going to be insane fun with the kind of Arkham-style combat mixed with an expansive open world Just Cause style, because this game is coming from Avalanche, the guys that make one of my favourite games of all time, Just Cause 2. So I can't help but be excited for this, and it's out on the 4th of September, so not too long to wait. Okay, our second game on this list is For Honor. This is a brand new IP being created by Ubisoft, and it looks really interesting. Now what we actually saw at the Ubisoft press conference was a CGI trailer along with an actual multiplayer gameplay video. Now the main thing I like about this game is just the premise. Knights versus samurais versus Celtics versus the Vikings. I think it's a really nice broad range of different styles that the game will be able to approach. And we don't really know too much about the game at this point. What they did show at the press conference was multiplayer, so perhaps it is a mainly multiplayer focused game, much in the way of Chivalry. But it does look really interesting. The combat looks really violent, visceral, and one of the best things about it is just how heavy it feels. Watching the blows from the sword just felt powerful, and that's something that's really hard to create in games. So that's one to definitely look out for. Our next game on our list is Doom. Now, Doom is a beloved franchise which is kind of being recreated for the modern era. Now this just brings me straight back to Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is pretty much the same kind of premise. You had the really old traditional games, which everyone speaks very highly of, and then you had some less than stellar newer remakes. And Doom just reminds me a lot of Wolfenstein. I'm really hoping that they'll nail a really engaging single-player story, and the multiplayer does look fun, even though I personally am not too interested in multiplayer all the time. Sometimes it manages to hook me, but it's never something I'll buy a game because of. So Doom is definitely worthy of a place on this list, purely because it's a game that seems to prefer arms and legs being detached from demons rather than being attached. The fourth game on our list is another brand new IP. Now I believe that this game was revealed in the Microsoft press conference, and it is of course Sea of Thieves. Now Sea of Thieves, more than anything else, really intrigues me. Now from what we've seen, they're not going for a very realistic look with the graphics, but it's a very stylish and unique design, and that's something that I always really like. The gameplay wise, I'm not really sure what it's going to be. They mentioned a bit of survival, and they showed off some ship combat and talked about it being multiplayer. So if it really is a kind of survival multiplayer pirate game, where you can team up with friends and run massive pirate ships together, go on raids and attack other ships, then that sounds like great fun. So I really thought about whether I should add this on this list or not, but I'm really intrigued by this game. That's why it's made it onto the list. So that's one I'm definitely going to keep an eye on. At number 5, we have the sequel to one of my favourite games of all time, Dishonored 2. Now, the original Dishonored was a fantastic game. It was a beautiful blend of player choice and a strong narrative. The game had really deep lore that we just really wanted to explore more, and it looks like Dishonored 2 is going to delve straight into that. We have a brand new female protagonist. Even though you can play as the old male one, I think most people will probably go for our new character. We're in a brand new setting, so rather than the kind of industrial setting of Dunwall, we're now in more of a seaside town, which looks really interesting, along with having loads of new powers, loads of new weapons, and a whole new story for us to delve straight into. Dishonored 2 will hopefully be one of my favourite games of whichever year it comes out in. At number 6 is a game which really hurts my soul, and that's because it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. It is Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, the pure fact that I will never probably get the chance to play this game, unless one day I do invest in a PlayStation 4, kind of makes me sad. This game looks really, really fun. It's this kind of mix-mash between an apocalyptic world, and you've got this kind of brave character, and then the coolest thing in the world is robot dinosaurs. They're not explicitly dinosaurs, but you can obviously see that they are based on dinosaurs. You have little raptors, and you have the coolest, gigantic T-Rex robot. Wow. It looks so much fun, and if this is indeed an open world game where you're free to go explore and do stuff however you want, it will be probably one of the strongest games on the PlayStation 4, and I will be so damn sad if I cannot play it myself. At number 7, we have Star Wars Battlefront. Now, I was very conflicted about Battlefront when I first saw it at EA's press conference. Seeing it on the live stream just made me think it looked like a Battlefield 4 reskin. And that was really disappointing to me. I really wanted more from the game. But then the next day I went back and I watched it on YouTube in higher quality, and I kind of started to fall in love with it a bit, to be honest. The more I watch the trailers, the more I watch the gameplay, the more I notice things, the more I get excited for this game. So now I've kind of reached a point where, yeah, I am really excited about this game. In my E3 coverage video, I essentially said that, no, I'm pretty much not excited about this game anymore, but since then, I've kind of built the hype up in myself, so Star Wars Battlefront is definitely back on the watch for me. Although I do still stand by what I say, is that this game would have probably done so much better if they just avoided the Star Wars Battlefront name altogether. If they had rebranded it as something completely new, there wouldn't have been the inevitable comparisons between the old games and this new game. They could have created something entirely new, which fans could create a love for of their own, rather than having to rely on an old game series. So I think they missed a trick there. But hey ho, that's coming out in November, so not too long to wait, and it should be good fun when we get our hands on it. Okay, we're coming into the last 3 games on our list now. At number 8, we have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, this was a game that no one really expected to be released, and from the gameplay they were showing, no one really had any idea what it was at the time. Now, what's strange about Ghost Recon Wildland that kind of intrigues me is that it's an open world shooter, and that is a really strange concept. Now, I did mention earlier that I do have a real weakness for open world games, which is why this one has made the list, and it looks like a really unique take. It's got the kind of general tropes of a shooter with just a massive sprawling open world that looks kind of interesting to explore. It's very rare that we get our hands on a game that is so focused on shooter gameplay, yet gives you the freedom to explore a massive open world, approach situations from however you want. You can blast through the front doors with a jeep, or you can sit up on a mountain and snipe. It's completely your choice, and because it's an open world, you're not limited to one set linear path. So Ghost Recon Wildlands really surprised me. I didn't play the previous Ghost Recon game, but I think I'm definitely going to have to pick this one up, just because I really like the idea behind it. Okay, at number 9, we have yet another sequel to one of my favourite games of all time. I have so many of them. This is Just Cause 3. Now, we all knew Just Cause 3 was going to be shown at E3 at the Square Enix press conference, and I'm so glad it was, because otherwise that Square Enix press conference would have been the most boring thing ever. Now, this game just looks like mental, bombastic fun, and I reckon it's going to be absolutely brilliant. The previous game was fantastic, and if this is anything like that, just improved, then there is no way this game could go wrong. This game could not have a storyline, it could not have multiplayer, it could just be an open world with a grapple hook, a parachute, and as they keep saying, infinite C4, and it would be fantastic still. I have a real love for the Just Cause franchise, and I've played them ever since the first game, and I've loved every single one. Just watching how this series progresses and evolves is really interesting and gets me really hyped for this new game. I'm really excited to explore the new game world, try out the new weapons, and that wingsuit looks great fun. But I think the thing that gets me the most excited about anything in this game is destructible environments. Whereas it's not, say, Red Faction levels of destruction, seeing buildings collapse, being able to pull down these giant radio antennas, and completely decimating an enemy base will be so much more fun than it was in the previous games. There's nothing I love more than to leave an enemy stronghold with nothing more than dust remaining. And I can see some really exciting moments can come out of this. Imagine setting something up so you could destroy a bridge as you drive across it and it's just collapsing behind you. I can see this being so much fun, you being able to create so many insane action movie moments that it's just not possible in any other game. So Just Cause 3 is definitely worthy of its place on this list. Now, by name alone, Fallout 4 deserves its place on this list. This game has me hyped more than any other game. When I saw the actual gameplay of this from the Bethesda conference, I literally went online at that moment and pre-ordered the collector's edition with the actual Pip-Boy, which you can wear. And that is a decision I do not regret to this day. Fallout 4 just looks like it's going to improve all the things that Fallout 3 missed. The dialogue is so much better, and I really love the inclusion of an actual voiced character. Yes, you may not be able to identify with your character as much because you are not that character anymore, you are controlling someone. But I think what this will have the effect of is making you far more engaged in the story because you will care about this character and you will care about the quest that they are on. It's also just much more interesting than that awkward little zoom they did when you talk to NPCs in the previous games. Being able to actually have this interaction between you Witcher style is much more engaging to me. Also, something that got me incredibly excited was the moment that they revealed the building systems and the crafting systems. This made me so excited for this game. Being able to make your own bases exactly how you want, being able to make weapons and armor, it's all so exciting. I cannot do it justice in probably an hour talking about it, and just go and watch the videos if you haven't. It looks incredible. Also, during the Microsoft press conference, we got a little extra footage of the game, and in doing so, they also revealed that the Xbox One version of the game will have mod support, which just blows my mind. Finally being able to bring mods onto console games is something that used to only be dreamt about, and done by a very few people who often got in quite a lot of trouble for it. And now that Fallout 4 is literally going to be mod compatible, you can take them across from Windows 10 devices to the Xbox One, will open whole new worlds. And as long as you don't have to pay for it, which I really hope you don't, and that will be a real dirtbag move, it'll be a great alternative for those people that don't want to buy the DLC. But then again, the Fallout DLC has always been really quite substantial, so I doubt that's something you'll want to miss out on. So there we have it, guys. They were my 10 top games of E3 2015. If you want to include the honourable mentions, that was my top 16 games of E3 2015. So if a game that you're really excited about didn't make it onto this list, or maybe I actually just missed one myself, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. This is nowhere near a definitive list, this could change whenever, because really this is all based on hype and speculation at the minute. So let's just keep the discussion going. So that's about it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video, and will be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I've been TheRoyalGorilla, over and out.
His name is Luke and he's more than your average gamer. No ordinary let's player. Know about Easter eggs much better. Da 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 da. His name is Luke, aka TheRoyalGorilla. Even bigger than the giant Godzilla. Follow him in every game he goes. Da 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 da. He's almost got everything you need, from GTA 5 to Assassin's Creed.